Hey there, good morning. Welcome to the channel. This is Rod, and today we're going to talk about Jesus. It's about 9:30 here in sunny Central Florida, March 27th. Trying something a little different today. Going to try just to go live, see how it goes. Try it a little different. Um, got a lot of pollen out here in the air, but I have faith. I have faith that Jesus isn't going to let that pollen take me over, right? So, what is faith? Um, a lot of people laugh at Christians because we have a blind faith. And that is true. And that's what it takes to be a Christian. But I want to kind of start it off with Jesus again. And what could he have done if he hadn't have like departed earth in his 33 years? Like, what if he just stayed around and hung out with us and like just said, I'm going to be in charge here. But what if he would have advised our presidents or the other leaders of the time and leaders today? He could settle disputes between nations. He could have stopped, um, wars, invasions, terrorists, whatever things, right? He could have went to the hospitals and cured all the sick. And the list goes on and on of all the things he could have done. But what would we do? What would our response be? If looking at like Mark chapter 4, Jesus demonstrates his great power over and over and over again. I mean, he calmed the storms. He restored demon-possessed people. He healed a woman. He raised the dead. And all these demonstrations, all these supernatural things that no one could explain. And they're spectacular. They're stunning. Probably a little scary too, right? But more interesting is the response of other people when they saw what he could do. Well, how would you respond? What would you say? Because some of those fears or some of those responses ranged from fear to faith. That was a bleeding woman. She was so desperate, right? She reached out just to touch his clothing because she believed if she could just touch him, touch his garment, she would be healed. And so, because of her faith, she was healed. Her faith freed her from her suffering. But if we move ahead a couple chapters to Mark 6, Jesus didn't demonstrate his power to those people in his own hometown because of their lack of faith. And many times it is those people that we love the most or that know us who are going to be the most critical of what we do. But from all those different responses, and those are kind of the extreme, right? But he had everything in between as well. But we know, and this demonstrates that faith doesn't just come naturally to us. We humans are very skeptical. We always have a conspiracy theory ready to go. But just because we witness a miracle, even if it was a miracle of Jesus, it's still an intentional decision for us to trust Jesus after we see it. But you can go back to when God was leading the people, the Israelites, out of Egypt, right? He would do all these amazing things, and then they would complain. And they would lose their faith immediately and want to go find another God to worship. And we do the same thing. If we don't get that instant hit, that instant rush, that instant whatever we want, we can go find replacements pretty quickly. Now, at the end of the day, we might get a quick adrenaline rush, a quick feel of happiness, a quick whatever that is, but it isn't going to be the same thing as trusting in Jesus and the long-term benefits that that's going to be. So faith is also not a good feeling, or a sense of confidence based on our circumstances. People get that wrong, I think, all the time. And so we have to know, with faith, you have to understand that God is always in control. And no matter what we're facing, he's in control. So faith isn't rooted always in spiritual experience. But these experiences open our eyes to some of the mighty accomplishments that Jesus can do. But they don't make us believe. Faith stems from that decision to follow Jesus, who revealed himself to be the powerful God and gracious Savior. I've seen some pretty amazing things. And one of my favorite stories that I've told over the years is my grandfather died kind of in the fall, and I lived up north at the time, and it was cold weather already. But at the funeral, they played a song called "The Roses Will Bloom Again," and they did, like, even before they should have. It was like in the kind of fall to winter months, and in that area, outside roses shouldn't have been blooming, but ours were. So that was a miracle that touched me. But here's the thing. I saw that and I knew what it was. I felt other things from those moments as well, but I also slipped and didn't trust, didn't have that full faith, and looked at my own self and had faith in my own self to be able to accomplish all the things in life. Boy, was that a mistake. But do you have a spiritual experience that you're seeking, or a prayer that you need answered or want answered? And if Jesus seems to be silent or give you a different answer than what you actually want, will you still trust in him? Because he doesn't always give you what you want, but he gives you what he wants you to have. And that's hard for us. It's hard for us. So thank you for listening. And once again, trying something new, trying to see if this is something that I want to do it this way in the future, going live. So please like, share, subscribe, so more people can hear about Jesus. If you have questions about Jesus, please feel free to reach out. And I appreciate you for listening. Have a great rest of your day, and hear from you soon.